It's the Stephanie Miller Show. I am with the pro-Major Biden caucus here, which includes me and my equally ill-trained beast, Jamie. All right, Jamie's very excited. You know why? Because it's time for the rockin' congresswoman from the great state of who also has a small, ill-trained dog. Representative Janice Schakowsky of the great state of Illinois joins us now. Hello, good morning, Representative.
Oh, good morning, Stephanie. Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it.
Well, listen, I already love you, and now I want to kiss you and hug you and squeeze you over the COVID relief bill, because it really is, as Joe Biden would say, a BFD, right? I mean, it is the biggest progressive piece of legislation maybe ever, right?
Well, they're saying maybe since the days of Lyndon B. Johnson, when so many of our fundamental bills were actually signed into law, but that's a long time ago. Generations have passed since then, and I'm so excited and so proud. And let's remember, he's only been president for like a month and a half. It's just remarkable.
Yeah, that's Operation Warp Speed. Yeah. I mean, honestly, the number of vaccinations, I think the amount of hope people are finally feeling. I mean, and also just the contrast. You said while the GOP leader was reading Dr. Seuss, Democrats passed a $1.9 trillion stimulus bill that will cut child poverty in half and deliver urgently needed relief. It's sort of extraordinary that not one Republican voted for a bill that has, in a pandemic that has killed 25,000 Americans?
Oh, more than that, I think. Yeah. Isn't it, the politics of it just completely eludes me. I don't understand. The only place where it's a partisan issue is in the Congress itself, because out in the world, in our world, 75%, sometimes more in polling, want this bill, need this bill, appreciate it. And it's really a sea change in the interpretation of what government means. I think we have passed a point where, government is the problem, not the solution. People are looking to government now, and they're going to get it. Joe Biden said help is on the way, and it's coming.
Yeah.
We're going to vote on this. It's going to be great.
I feel like we're in the middle of watching, my dad's party, a major party in America just commit suicide. This bill has 83%, I believe, last poll I saw, public approval rating.
Okay, so 83.
They're hanging on to Donald Trump, who helped them lose the White House, the House, and the Senate, who is actively telling people to send money to me, not to the Republican Party. I mean, what do you make of what's happened to your Republican colleagues?
Well, how do they go home and they say, well, yes, I voted against sending you that check. I voted against extending unemployment insurance. No, your kids are not going to get that tax credit that's going to alleviate poverty. And we don't want to put food on your table. Yeah. And so we voted no. I don't know what the message can possibly be.
Well, and as you tweeted, Representative, you said as Americans suffer and demand relief and systemic change, Republicans across the country have united to suppress the vote. It's disgusting. We must pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. I keep saying I don't think anything else matters unless we pass that, because these bills are they've dropped any pretense of voter fraud. They are just absolutely trying to cut the amount of people that can vote. Right, cutting early voting, trying to get away with, vote by mail. I can't even keep up with all the techniques, right?
So in Georgia, they thought, well, that Sunday voting, where Black people have souls to the polls, that lets them vote more. That brings out the vote more. So let's just get rid of Sunday voting. Right. It's so blatant. The racism, it's just. shocking, really. They don't care though. They're shameless. They're totally shameless.
Yeah.
They do what they think they have to do to pick their own voters, to limit people's right to vote. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of racism, you also tweeted today the U.S. House of Representatives said Black Lives Matter. We passed the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act of 2021. I am wearing my I Can't Breathe shirt. Obviously, the Derek Chauvin trial is going on, and it seems like it's so obvious why we need that. To me, Representative, correct me if I'm wrong, police should be happy. Their jobs they're not equipped for. They're not social workers. They're not mental health counselors. They're not drug addiction specialists, right?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. I mean, this is going to make our country so much better. But since George Floyd was killed, before the murder was right in front of our eyes, 8 minutes and 46 seconds, we watched in horror. There's been a lot of incidents since then. Our young poet laureate was tracked to her door by security.
Yeah.
They thought she looked suspicious. Really? I mean, it goes on and on, the targeting of people of color, and we can't have that anymore. People are ready for this change to make police the more accountable. And as you said, they don't have to do all the things that they are sent out to do armed and dangerous themselves. So
Yeah.
I would hope that law enforcement would understand and support getting some of the bad apples, people who are quick on the trigger, who are known racists, that they should not want those people in their force.
Yeah. Well, let's again go back to HR 1 though, the Voting Rights Act, because again, I don't feel like we're going to get any of our other stuff done if we can't figure this out. What do you think the path is for HR 1? I know now on Bloody Sunday anniversary, Biden signed the executive order directing the sprawling apparatus of the federal government to promote voting rights. It's an executive order which mostly focuses on promoting voter registration, making election information more accessible, but there's only so much the president can do, right, with an executive order. He said every eligible voter should be able to vote and have it counted. If you have the best ideas, you have nothing to hide. Let more people vote. Well, Republicans, as you said, Representative, are doing the diametrically the opposite of that. They are trying to get the least amount of people able to vote possible. What's the path for all this?
So I think the path has to do with the filibuster.
Yeah.
And there is a robust discussion right now. The fact that you need 60 votes to pass a bill in the Senate is probably one of the most undemocratic, small d, procedures that we could possibly have. The Senate itself, in many ways, if you look at it, is not really all that democratic when you have 2 senators from Utah and 2 senators from California. It's not exactly even Steven here. But the filibuster is now being robustly debated including Joe Manchin is talking about ways that we might be able to limit that. Otherwise, that kind of much needed bill is going to have a hell of a time in the Senate to get passed.
Is that the bell that you have to go vote for something, or are we at the 3rd floor of lingerie? What's happening?
It must be on your end.
Oh, okay. All right.
Here.
I thought that was like ding, 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 trying to go save democracy, Jan Schakowsky. Ding, 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 ding. Okay. Talk to us about vaccine apartheid. Because I know you've been working to make sure poorer nations also have access to the vaccines that wealthier nations are able to manufacture. This is what was always wrong with the America First or America Alone, is that how much more egregiously can we learn the lesson of that? Unless we vaccinate everybody, this is viruses are going to continue to circulate around the entire world. Right?
This has been so frustrating. I'm so grateful to you for even bringing it up. This story has not been told. There are well over 30 countries that have not had one shot, one vaccine given. They are vulnerable. There are new deviants developing around the world. We are in danger if we don't vaccinate everyone around the world. And this is not happening. Why? Because the big pharmaceutical companies don't want to agree to a waiver that just for the pandemic time would allow countries to provide, to manufacture their own vaccines. This is about intellectual property rights. This is about, so they want to extend the discussion about this, looking for a third way, which is really a no way. We need to get this waiver to the what is called the TRIPS agreement, but it's with the World Trade Organization, to be able to allow countries to make vaccines now, before it, we're in a race against time here, because if we don't get those shots in people's arms, it gives time for these variants to
Yes.
flourish all over the world. And we are a small world. It's going to come to us.
Yeah, exactly.
Some point, which it has. So I'm really, really frustrated that can't seem to get too much attention. And I attribute that to the pharmaceutical industry. I mean, watch all the shows on television, but even progressive cable, and every other ad is from a pharmaceutical company. Are rolling in money and they don't want to lose it. It is profits over people, and we are all at risk because of it.
Well, yeah, and Representative, I think we just got a little bit of good news this morning that looks like the Pfizer vaccine is effective against is it the Brazilian variant?
That's what I read. Yeah.
Variant, yeah. But again, it just goes to show you that we're going to keep getting variants from different places. We need to get everybody vaccinated everywhere to really crush this. I mean, otherwise we're always going to be just racing against time. And it's so, yeah, I mean, thank you for your work on that, because I think that's going to be the next, it's the next mountain to climb even here is vaccine hesitancy, right?
Right. Yeah, I wonder if all of the members of Congress who are eligible, we're all eligible to have our shots. I bet there's some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle that have said no. I'm not sure about that, but
Yeah.
it would be interesting. These are the same people that don't want to wear masks.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a difference in philosophy. We were just talking about the homeless problem here in LA and in California. And we were talking about that, Garcetti or others can put forward good legislation. And then what happens is all the separate communities vote down having a homeless shelter in their area. And then they blame, then it's a vicious circle where they blame the politicians. But that's the same as vaccine, right? Representative, it feels like it's a we problem. If we all figure out how to address it, it's just, but if it's always someone else's problem, or whether it's America first on vaccines.
We have a name for it, NIMBY, not in my backyard.
Right.
It's as, and we like to pride ourselves on being a compassionate person, but just as long as it's not in our backyard.
Yeah. Well, this is why I got to say, just the COVID relief bill, it's such a big deal. And thank you for your part in it, because cutting childhood poverty in half is not nothing. I mean, this is really going to, and what does Bill Clinton always say? Rising tide lifts all boats. So hopefully, poverty, food insecurity, homelessness, hopefully this will help a lot of things at the same time.
We really haven't heard much from the other side about how the debt is rising a little bit. We have it's a new day where people believe that government can be the answer. And that's why I'm so thrilled that we're actually doing it, not just talking about it.
Yeah.
But it helps millions and millions of people. I'm thrilled.
Congratulations. You know what? I am having a little vaccine envy, and I'm wondering if I can borrow a Jan Schakowsky wig to see if I can get a vaccine shot. I'm not proud at this point. I'll wear my official Chicago Steph Head shirt. Okay. Just saying.
It's better.
Can I borrow your ID to get a vaccine?
Stephanie.
Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
There are people who did it before you.
No, but it should be getting better in your neighborhood too.
Yeah.
There's definitely more vaccines. There's more of these big staging places
Yeah.
where they're giving, hundreds and thousands and millions. Yeah.
Yep. I can't wait. And then I'm going to hug you and not let go until your
Okay, I look forward to it.
until your security removes me like usual. But Representative, thank you as always. And we'll talk to you again soon.